There is no doubt that Donald Trump helped increase women's participation in politics at every single level. I mean, that is what happened in 2018. Women, I used to say that reaction to Trump, 2018 was like a League of Women Voters election. After the big women's march, women didn't just go out into the streets and protest. They went home and they started to run for office. They ran for school board. They ran for city council. They ran for Congress. They went to town meetings. They organized. They walked precincts. I mean, I think that, you know, his election sparked one of the greatest flowerings of female activism ever in this country. And that's why you saw this huge surge for Democrats in 2018 in Congress. I don't have the numbers at my fingertips, but lots and lots of new Democratic members of Congress that were women. When you watched the State of the Union during the Trump presidency, especially after 2018, even before, and you saw the overhead shots of the floor of the House, you saw one side of the aisle filled with a diverse group, many, many female people, lots of white suits for the suffragists, and then the other side of the aisle, an ocean of males in blue suits. You know, that was just a striking visual reminder of what happened in the 2018 election. There were a lot of women running for president. You know, in 2020, one of them was on the ticket, and now she's the vice president. I can't tell you when I think we're going to have a female president. I think we're going to have one in my lifetime. And, you know, my colleague, Cokie Roberts, may she rest in peace, she was a trailblazer. And she used to always say that she believed that the way a woman would become president is by being the vice president first. When Hillary Clinton ran for president, I thought, oh, Cokie, you know, it's not going to work out that way. But who knows? She still might be right. But there's no doubt that Trump, look, for every conservative voter that Trump energized, he energized at least one, if not two, Democratic voters in opposition to him. And a lot of them were women. I think a lot of men have taken on the cause for women's empowerment. I mean, for a lot of men who we now depend on two incomes to keep a family in the middle class. Men want their wives and their partners to earn as much money as they do in a profession. That's one thing. They need childcare. Families, these are family issues. These aren't men's and women's issues. You know, opening schools, equitable distribution of vaccines, childcare, child tax credits, you know, embedded in the COVID relief bill that's right now before the Senate, it's been passed by the House, is a $3,000 a year tax credit for children that would cut child poverty in half. I've heard 40% or 50%. That's an extraordinary thing. And on the other side of the aisle, you have Mitt Romney promoting a different plan, similar though, you know, a big child tax credit. He would take the money from other programs, and that's, you know, the Congress will debate that. But there's no doubt that, you know, Hillary Clinton said famously in China, you know, women's rights are human rights and human rights are women's rights. And I think that a lot of men are understanding that there is no difference or separation between women's empowerment and, you know, the prospect that their families can succeed. One thing that we've found through research is that women, I mean, there are so many barriers and boundaries to women running for office. One of them is internal, how women have internalized this, that when you talk to women and men who are thinking about running for office, the women say, well, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm qualified. You know, men don't spend 1 second thinking that. It's like, are you kidding? Like, of course I'm going to run for office. So that I think is actually getting less, but that's a huge barrier, just the internalized thing. Also, look, politics is mean and not fun in a lot of ways, and you have to have an extremely thick skin. And you have to, and especially now that politics is so tribalized and, so raw, and you're going to have every single thing about your personal life, examined and demonized and whatever, you have to have a really strong stomach. And I'm not saying that women are less tough than men. They're not, but they might just not have a high tolerance for that. But I actually think that more women are running for office. I mean, there are many organizations, well, certainly at Rutgers, they've got all the data there. And I have to assume that, that they are tracking this. And right now we are having more women run for office than ever before. So that's a really good thing. But there's no doubt there are boundaries. There are boundaries like there would be for any other profession. Women are the primary caregivers to their children and their parents. So that's a boundary. Also, to run for office, you need a lot of money, or you need to have the ability to raise a tremendous amount of money. Who has the majority of wealth in this country? Male people, not female people. But that's why you see like a Kelly Loeffler, who ran for Senate in Georgia, lost to Raphael Warnock, but she was super, super wealthy individual. So there are a lot of the boundaries and barriers that would be there anyway, but then there are extra ones for women.